Hello and welcome to your favorite show that brings the brightest minds in the creative industry in Nigeria. This is the Camera Lounge Season 2, proudly brought to you by CAMERAjOINT, Nigeria's #1 camera store. I'm Kayode Alayande, your host. You have a chance to win a Sony A7 IV camera with a 28 to 70mm kit lens in the Camera Lounge Season 2. Here's all you have to do. Subscribe to the CAMERAjOINT and Mofe Productions YouTube channels. Leave a comment describing what you learned from each episode. Mention a creative icon you'd like interviewed on the show. CAMERAjOINT will announce a winner at a raffle draw live event in June 2023. The Camera Lounge, powered by CAMERAjOINT, supported by Sony Alpha Nigeria, and produced by Mofe Productions. Don't miss it. Welcome back. One of the things we decided to do differently on this season of the Camera Lounge is to have more female representation. And that's why I'm so excited to bring you on this episode a very powerful, energetic, fiercely creative and enthusiastic young lady. She has an incredibly large body of work. In fact, Pinterest described her as the best female celebrity photographer in Nigeria. Please welcome to the Camera Lounge Season 2, the CEO and Creative Director of B&B Studios, Lagos, Nigeria, Bisola Mofe Bamuyiwa.
That was a beautiful introduction.
Like it.
At some point, I was like, is it not too much? But no, I deserve it.
Yes, you do. You do.
I work hard.
Yes, so you work hard.
Yes.
Who is Mofe?
If you ask me who I am, I'm a lover of life, to be honest. I love the information that life has given me, like from the knowledge I've experienced so far. It's not really about what I've learned from the books or whatever. It's just about the life, nature, everything around it has taught me so many things that has brought me to this point, you know. So Mofe is on a journey of discovering the fullest potential of my existence. Meaning that I want to live the highest expression of myself. So that's the reason why whenever I have ideas, people just tell me, you do a lot, you do family, you do photo shoot, you do kids, you do, if they say I should shoot celebrity, I should do, this was trending, I will do it. So it's just me always excited to express myself. Great. And use the tools around me to be able to project that.
Yeah, so but you know, like they say that we come into the world like brand new computers that need to be programmed.
Yeah.
So I want you to give us a sense of what programmed you to, I mean, apart from the giftings that you have from God, there is a way life programs you, your family, your upbringing, your education. So can you share that with us, your early life, and how, especially as they segue into the Mofe that we all know today? I'm
the first out of many boys, so I've understood what adventure is like early, because you know, men, especially when they are boys, they're very adventurous. They can build things or create anything with everything around them. So I was opportunity to live with boys in the house. I think that's where I understood the power of improvisation, because I had a brother who could build anything. You could build a house with a matches box. If you give it money, you can just tear everything up and build. So I grew up with my brothers who are also artists. So I learned how to express myself already, you know. When like at home, I could express myself with whatever it is at home. I went to Lagos State Model College, Badore. I enjoyed schooling there a lot because I wanted to have new friends, and I wanted to have friends that were girls, and I was drawn to the art. So everything around it was just about the art. So I wanted to go there. But of course, I was a brainy in school. I used to represent my school for mathematical competitions.
Oh, wow.
And I was in JET club. And everybody was expecting that I'll be in science class. So I resumed school and I was in art class. They were looking for me. So they thought that maybe I resumed late, but I was actually in art class. I was at the back because I knew that some of my teachers would have seen me and be like, what are you doing here? So I was at the back.
So you decided that that's what you wanted to do?
Yes, but the school wanted me
to do science
because they know that this girl with science will do, maybe, I don't know, but of course they will need somebody that will be going for more competitions at school or something. So I went back to science class, by the way, and I graduated as a science student, and I went to university. It was a struggle for me, but there was a place that I really loved, which was technical drawing, you know.
Wow.
I was in technical drawing.
Such a bundle.
I'm telling you. So I was so good at it that I don't know if you know anything called French curve. Everybody was using French curve with a French curve ruler, but I was using a ruler to draw my French curve, and my French curve was the best. I enjoyed it.
With no bumps?
No bumps. I was so good in technical drawing.
So you found expression in that?
I found expression in that.
In technical drawing?
Yes. Because there was art in it.
Yeah, I see.
You understand? And I told you something about the power of improvisation. Mine was that my French curve got broken, and there was a test. That was how it happened. So it was now cruise from like my vibe.
So that was how you found your talent.
I was like, who does French curve without a French curve? It was me.
Since you mentioned education,
yeah,
you studied project management.
Yes.
All right. Project management technology. All right. And now you're a photographer. How did that happen?
When I got into university, I just thought that I don't want to do a girl's job. All the women wanted to do doctor. I wanted to join the guys and go into engineering because of, you know, I was good with technical drawing. So I just felt, okay, let me just go into engineering school. And obviously I didn't do well to pass. So I was advised to try other courses. And that was the only course that I just thought that, you know, was okay for me because I saw management technology. And it was actually I didn't regret that course at all because I think it's part of the foundation that actually brought me to this point where I never knew that as a photographer, it's actually a project for you to carry on any. If I want to do a shoot, for instance, especially my personal project, it's actually a project. So there are a lot of things that need to go in plan for you to be able to execute it. You know, so I think that was what it was able to.
Yeah, it was able to.
It was a pathway for me, right? So I graduated from school. I already started photography in school, by the way, and I bought these pocket cameras. So I used to take pictures, parties, and all. And for funny reason, after I graduated, I just said I was not going for NYSC. I just want to be a photographer. So you're like, oh, you have to do NYSC or you won't get a job. But I don't know where I found the confidence, and I said it was photography that I was going to do. How I was going to do it, I didn't know. But I've always been a side hustler in school. So I was just thinking that now that I am graduated in school, my hustle will get doper. You know, I will have more time for my side hustles. So I was still doing all those my side hustles, contract jobs, all those truck jobs. I had so many weird jobs I've done just because I wanted to save money to be able to.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever done?
I have danced for Indomie, and I danced from Surulere. I think no. Is it? Oh, please don't laugh. We danced for Indomie.
No, so I want to ask you: did you do it for money?
Did I do it for money? Of course, I did it for money.
Let me finish this question.
Because you have been listening to it, did you do it for money or for fun? You see?
It was both ways. It was like I said, it was just adventure. I just wanted to have fun. But there was money in it. And I'm having fun. I like to dance. I didn't get to give us food. When they'll give you food now. Food day, everything. They even cook the noodles for us to eat, if possible. Do you get? There's so many odd jobs. I've worked in a fuel station before.
Like dispensing fuel?
Yes, dispensing fuel. That's why I know when somebody is about to cheat me. This process was just a journey of a girl who was passionate about something and she could do anything to make sure that dream came true. I wanted to be a photographer, right? And I wanted to be a photographer. I didn't know how, but I just know that I need to get a camera first. Sometimes I'm just see a friend of mine because I was rolling with dancers, and you know, dancers are usually very creative with their looks sometimes. And I just want to, look at your friend, just take picture of you here, you know. And we didn't really have phones like that then.
Yeah.
So it was always something I was looking forward to. Until I got the camera, I was just like, now it's not time for me. You guys are my guinea pigs. And that's why I kept on practicing, and you know, the journey started from there.
You have a chance to win a Sony A7 IV camera with a 28 to 70mm kit lens in the Camera Lounge Season 2. Here's all you have to do. Subscribe to the CAMERAjOINT and Mofe Productions YouTube channels. Leave a comment describing what you learned from each episode. Mention a creative icon you'd like interviewed on the show. CAMERAjOINT will announce a winner at a Raffle Draw Live event in June 2023. The Camera Lounge, powered by CAMERAjOINT, supported by Sony Alpha Nigeria and produced by Mofe Productions. Don't miss it.
When was your first professional gig?
My first professional gig was so many. Like I did a lot of events, little events, but the time I knew where it was about to start was when somebody called me and said, Mofe, can you cover my sister's wedding? I was like, yes, where's it going to be? It's an outdoor wedding somewhere around Ikeja. I was like, oh, fantastic. Just my camera, and I don't need to carry any light. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, even when that time, nobody was carrying light like we carry.
Yeah, that's what you didn't need to carry.
I didn't need to think of too many things. I just know that okay, it's outdoor, and I didn't have a prime lens. I was using an 80 to 35mm lens with a Nikon 90D then D90. Sorry. That was how I covered my first wedding for 35,000 naira.
Wow. When was this?
It happened in 2010. 2010 was my first my first wedding.
So how did that turn out?
The first
wedding. Were you frazzled like, hey?
So because I already knew the person who was organizing the event, and it was really a small gathering. I think it wasn't overwhelming for me, unlike some people that was their first wedding and they're seeing like 400 people. Mine was like, you know, 50, or it was a garden. People just wanted to have fun. They had the registry and they just wanted to eat, and it's quite a peaceful wedding. So I had a lot of fun. I really had enough time to even practice where I'm going wrong, if my lighting isn't really good, and all of that. And that time there was no photo book. That time it was albums. There were photo books, but yeah, it was a lot then. It was just specific people on the island then that were doing it. So where I did albums, so that time you have to buy an album, you have to paste it, clean it with handkerchief, make sure that it's smooth and all of that. You have to print. You print in some places they are bad.
So the client was happy.
Oh, very, very happy. Okay,
great. Now let's delve into the philosophy of your work. I want to read a quote from an interview you had in 2017.
Really? Wow.
Don't freak out.
Okay.
All right, so listen to this. He said, most times I look for the weakness and make it inspirational. I want people to see how I envision life in everything I photograph and give someone hope. And I'm looking at this expression. It's quite deep. Where did you get that approach to your work from?
There's a story about a particular man. I used to live in school. He's a very popular man in that area when it comes to childbearing. It is from my area, the Ilaje and the Shekiri people. They give, a lot of the women actually do traditional birth. So I've seen him do these things, and I really wanted to. But when people see him outside, they just look at him like, who is this guy? I was looking at this man, and this man, to me, was like, there are a lot of women who cannot afford the hospitals.
Okay, hospital
outside.
delivery, yes.
Yes, but he's doing this thing, even when the woman cannot afford it. He's like, just come, lie down here, put something on the floor. And there's never been any time he had stillbirth. And I didn't have a camera at that time to photograph that kind of person, because to me, I saw him as a superhero. He has been doing this thing, though he's late now, you know, but sometimes I go to his place, or rather when we are in that place, we have like 20 women waiting, they're eating sugar cane. They say, what's sugar cane for? Sugar cane is the stress around the pelvis and all of that. So those things would have been a story for me if I had my camera. So ever since then, people see that thing as a weakness, that how can you be doing all those kind of things? But I've seen how he has saved a lot of women's life from not dying because they could not afford hospitals. So
you're able to connect purpose with photography very early.
Yes.
All right, so I was going to go into, some of the stories that have brought you publicity.
Yeah.
That story of people like Riscott and Jade, you know. Tell me about those experiences. Why did you do the story of Riscott and her daughters?
So it was on Instagram. Everybody was just tagging me. You need to take these girls' pictures. You know, it was on a lot of blogs. Mofe should see this child. I'm going to take the pictures and all of that. So I saw that going on the internet, and I didn't want to respond to any of that yet.
Why?
I wanted to first of all do my research and call them. And when I called Riscott and the family, so at that time they had not even eaten. That was even what was more, that was what I was even attentive to, that these people on the internet, these people, they are not even, do you understand? So the person I was talking to was a very kind person, Rukayat, and we talked along there. I said, I'm going to come tomorrow. So immediately I saw it on the internet. I actually left the next day, within 36 hours, I left Lagos to Ilorin, and I visited them. I took the opportunity to take their pictures, and I also did my own little thing. But you see, the thing after them was that, if you notice, I actually took my time off telling stories in Nigeria, because that was what I wanted to. But the reason why I took a step back from it was, it started looking as if I was chasing clouds. And I don't want anybody to see that. I have to find another way to do it. That's where I am right now, because there are so many stories. I have personal projects I'm working on. So I just thought, if this is how they see my photography, I don't want anybody to put that kind of energy around my work or my purpose as a photographer.
I want you to talk about the importance and value of creatives being conscious about the environment. Because not every time you want to do art for art's sake. Sometimes you want to be sensitive to your environment. There's politics, there's weather, there is issues in the news and stuff like that. I want you to talk about the value of using news items and contemporary issues as material for your artwork as a photographer or as a creative.
First of all, you have to know the reason why you got into photography. So that it doesn't look like that is what you're supposed to be doing. Some people come into this photography for a specific reasons and they are done with it. Some are very passionate about it. Some just want to do a specific thing and they'll be done. Because at the end of everything, what was the reason why you wanted to be a photographer? Why are we even here? Why are we even here today? It's because you want to transform lives. You want people to live a better life. Is your photography really doing that? We need to question that kind of thing. Even if you're doing it for a business purpose, it has to find a way to be able to solve solution in someone's life. Somebody wants to keep up a moment and they want to make sure that that moment is alive. And if you see that that is where your calling is, find out business strategies of making sure that everybody has a moment with your services. fantastic.
We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about how she developed her craft. That's in a moment. Don't go away.
Okay, I'm with my best friend. I'm sure you guys know already. My best friends are always the Sony cameras, and this is the A7 R5, recently just dropped by Sony Alpha. It's a 60 megapixel camera, and you know my favorite thing about the Sony is the autofocus system. It has an improved autofocus recognition. You can actually save, you know, the subject's face on the camera, and then it follows through anywhere the subject goes through. Your focus is intact. You know, in terms of video, it has 8K at 24p, and then it shoots 4K at 60p. The videos are amazing. I call it a hybrid master because you can actually use it for photography and video at the same time. It shoots 10-bit 422 video options and also includes S-Log3 and Cinetone. It's a very easy way of shooting and getting your images ready for your client. And then in terms of raw files, because I know you're going to be saying it's a 60 megapixels, in terms of raw files, you can actually reduce it and have 26 megapixels and also have 15 megapixels. My best friend is the Sony A7 R5. In terms of technology, it's a great camera. In terms of build quality, it's amazing. Ergonomics is amazing. The way, you know, the grip is, it's quite very sturdy and all. Sony camera is my best option. I don't know about you.
Welcome back to the Camera Lounge Season 2 with Mofe Bamuyiwa. Now, Mofe, let's talk about your work and how you've developed it over the years. Now, you say that you are self-taught, and people will say, hey, what does that mean? A lot of people disagree with that, like self-taught, okay? Even if you don't go to school, maybe there's YouTube,
Yes,
so
yes.
I need you to explain what you mean by self-taught.
So I agree with those people who say that self-taught, because I myself, I'm trying to change my perception around calling myself a self-taught photographer. But it's still self-taught, because I will still say it's self-taught because when we go on YouTube and we learn something, we're actually not going to have the same product that person taught us. You're just taking a model, or you're just taking a piece from what that person has taught, and you're spicing it to your original knowledge and passion and love you have as a photographer, videographer, or whatever creative you are. Because if we look at our works today, even the ones that are Nigerian photographers, our pictures are not like the American photographers or whoever that we learned from. We just picked up whatever, I'm like, let's add this to our own spice. And we created our style. Now I see a picture, I know that it's a Nigerian that photographed that. We are able to, Nigerians, I think Nigerians should start seeing ourselves as we are doing so well.
So we're already putting our
We are
own
putting
energy
a lot because
out there.
Well, our energy is out there because they know, they even say sometimes that those Nigerian photographers, because I travel abroad, say, oh, you Nigerian, you like colors, your weddings are so colorful, you guys love colors in Africa. So for them to be saying that, there's already a style, there's already a brand, there's already a signature of how we express art. Yes, how we should express art. So when even though they are coming here and they are trying to buy into the market, they know that somehow they just have to put that touch of a Nigerian feel, you know, in their work. So creating my style of photography has been evolving from one sport to the other.
So let's talk about those things responsible for that evolution.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you started your photography from a very good place, from the heart of what the job should be, which is the why. But again, there is a way your why can be so big that you need education to be able to express the worth of that why. So how did you elevate your work technically? How did you do that?
So, like you said earlier, like self-taught photographer, you know, I learned a lot of things online and I've been able to spice out how I want my pictures to feel, right? And I would have to say that I would recognize that there was a spot in my career where I knew that my photography just peaked. And that was when I went for this organization, or I don't know what, a conference where they wanted female photographers to come together and, you know, I don't know why they wanted to call.
How far back was this?
This was in 2017, I'm not sure. I think it was 2017.
A lot of things happened for you in that 2017.
Yeah. So 2017, I went for that conference. So of course they will evaluate your work after teaching. They were just telling us about how work should be presented. And I really, really wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be able to express myself fully as an artist, because I didn't want, from time, it wasn't commercial photography for me. Like I said, I really wanted to be an artist with a purpose. I've said that from the beginning. So, you know, I wanted, how can my work be presented as an art? I want my pictures to look, you know, sellable and marketable without just shooting shooting clients. And after a while, after the training, I learned a few things. But, you know, when they were critiquing our work, there was this particular lady who said, I like your work, you know, very fancy, you know, you did a lot of retouching on your work. I can see you do, because I was doing a lot of beauty photographs then. So I can see that your work is really colorful and really nice, but I don't think it's quite exhibition worthy. Maybe you should try street photography. I was like, I'm sorry, madam, my portraits are exhibition worthy, and I don't think I have to do street photography before my pictures can be exhibition worthy. And
what happened after that?
So when she said that, she paused. She didn't say anything to me. She didn't want to talk to me, but of course now I just said, so I just made her feel a lot better. So what do you think I can do a lot better with my portrait? She said, okay, maybe you should try and make your pictures a lot dramatic. Maybe you should tell a story about somebody. I was like, okay, it sounds better. And that was it. And after then, I went back home and I said, I want my pictures to look like an artist, right? And I want my pictures. So I had this magazine about artworks, painted. They are painters. So I started looking at their work and that was it. I said, how can I make my pictures look like paintings? And I started looking at children pictures. I was online. I was just looking at pictures. I was just seeing colors. I think I should just find a style and start shooting children without backdrops. And maybe from there, it can just look like those paintings. Maybe I'll just look for one app to just put the paint. I don't know, let me just take it. So I just saw this pretty girl, Jari. She came to my studio. It's M12's niece, M12 Photography. That's her niece. So they came around to play with me. I was just like, M12, see, I want to do child photography. I don't want to be doing all those, put 1, 2, and 1 year old, you put all those props. They put flowers are even good, but you know those props are a lot. I can't deal with that, you know. I don't want to keep it saying, do it now. It should be your style. Do it if it's all. And I told her to come the next day. And it's the story, so I wanted to say, how do I present this story? Because, you know, I learned a few things from there too, how to make sure that your pictures tell stories. So I just want to tell a story of how Jare will be when she's 21 years old. So I decided to get a wig that is Afro, showing that I'm from Africa. That's all, and just find a nice dress. And that's how I shot, and that was it. And I settled on that picture for the longest that night, because I was trying to make it look like a painting, you know. So I started looking at myself that maybe I should act like I'm painting. So I started doing that. I started working on each features, from the brows to the lashes, all those little details that you might think that it's not relevant. I put myself into it. I was zooming, I was forming a painter that day. So what I did was, immediately after that happened, I posted in the morning and I went to sleep, because I worked all night. I used to be a night crawler, but I've stopped. So I worked all night, slept. Next thing, my brother called me. How far? I see one picture where you put for line. I said,
correct.
Whoa. You like her? Did you like the picture? I just said, did you like the picture? So I slept. So my friend now came. Then light day, one of my friends called me. I was like, Mofe, wow, those pictures you posted was really nice. Guess what happened? I went on WhatsApp. I started seeing some people's DP. So now, that was when I now knew that I've never entered Instagram. On my WhatsApp, I've seen on people's DP, like, this girl is so fine, this girl is beautiful, you know. I was just seeing people's comments. Then I went online, and that was the most overwhelming time of my life because I didn't know how to attend to that. I started getting phone calls. I don't know how to manage it. I don't know how to manage, I think I don't know how to manage press or all those things. Because people told me that I should have maximized it, get PR. I'm like, no, that was not what I couldn't manage it, right? It's not my thing.
I did it.
I just wanted people to just, you know, like the image, and that was it. Before I knew it was on international platforms, and I was like, I looked at the image, and I said that this is precious to me, and I have to create a line. And ever since then, I started doing pictures, like paintings from there, and I've been developing, still reading, still learning, still researching, and I've been trying to make it a lot more present. Not looking very artistic, but it is a style that is a photographer that took it, but she's trying to make it real and make it look like
without
a painting.
Those plug-in effects.
You know.
I created
that, you know, putting out all the detailing, enhancing them, and all of that.
As I listened to you describe what you went through to create that picture, I mean, you sat with it, you were more like hand meditating on that piece.
I think that's the word, yeah.
Now, so what lesson did you learn from the effort and passion you put into it and the impact?
What I can say about it is that being imperfect actually makes you that artist, because the moment you strive to make it perfect, you're trying to say the original vision of what you had was not the perfect one. But now at this point, you're now trying to prove something that you're not, even when you already have it originally. So I learned that, because at some point I was trying to be really perfect, but I didn't believe that what I was already doing was mine. I already own it. You don't need to do too much. Just, this is okay, you know. But sometimes I look at it like, no, there's a green cast there. Can't you see it? I'll not consult, but Mofe, I can't see any green cast. I said I was saying green cast, then I'll now go back again. I'll start trying to balance it and all of that. That at some point made me feel like I wasn't good enough with something that was actually what I owned. It was a style I'm owning, but I was still feeling like it wasn't good enough. So I think being imperfect, sometimes you should allow it. Sometimes I allow it, and when I allow it, most of the time, I say that people love it. So
yeah,
I'm saying the mistakes that I should have done, but they say it's perfect. It's okay. So I look at myself sometimes, I look at the freckles on my face, I'm like, see, I even have freckles. Can see you're still perfect. So you have done something like this, you still want to be, it can't be. So I think imperfection, sometimes I think we should also embrace the art of imperfection, that we see that is not perfect, but it's actually perfect.
This is so powerful.
No, the reason why I'm saying that is because I deal with plants. The reason why I'm saying it that is because I deal with plants. There are some plants that look very weak, but you'll be shocked that they're the ones that will stay the longest, even in Hamilton. So I think they should look at imperfection too as an art, and I think that's the only thing I can hold on to, give anyone right now. That's the best you can do today. You've learned from that mistake. Tomorrow, what is the solution?
Let it go.
To that problem?
You have a chance to win a Sony A7 IV camera with a 28 to 70mm kit lens in the Camera Lounge Season 2. Here's all you have to do. Subscribe to the CAMERAjOINT and Mofe Productions YouTube channels. Leave a comment describing what you learned from each episode. Mention a creative icon you'd like interviewed on the show. CAMERAjOINT will announce a winner at a Raffle Draw Live event in June 2023. The Camera Lounge, powered by CAMERAjOINT, supported by Sony Alpha Nigeria, and produced by Mofe Productions. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to Camera Lounge Season 2, and we've been speaking with Bisola Mofe Bamuyiwa. Let's start winding down now. What's been your most embarrassing moment?
As a photographer?
Yes, in your career.
We have had so many challenges that have been embarrassing to us. But I want to go back in time when I started photography that time, and I covered I was supposed to cover a wedding, and she had made a deposit, and I was already prepared for the day, prepared for the event. And I get a call and she's telling me she's canceling the wedding. I don't know what the issue was. No, that she's canceling, it's not the wedding, sorry. It's a very long time. She said she doesn't want to use me as a photographer anymore, so she wants the full refund.
Canceling your booking.
So I said that that's not possible because we have already prepared for that day and you've already booked us for that day. She now said that the date is already far, blah, 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 blah. And I said, it's nothing you can do. You've already paid a non-refundable form. And the next thing, she started sending lawyers to me. Now, at that point where I was, is should I give out this money back, or I should just prove that I already said there's a 30% non-refundable form on it? And she started sending lawyers, and what I just did was 30% of this money, wedding is still far, it's not so close, and I just refunded the money. I didn't have the time to be going back and forth with lawyers. And after then, I saw the pictures online, the pictures she took, and she sent me a message. I don't know how she got the courage to say she wants to redo a portrait session with me of her husband, that they want to wear the same clothes and do a portrait in my studio as at that time. And I humbly said no.
But why did you say no?
I said no because I've recognized her personality, and I don't want that personality in my space. Because no matter how much I'm going to photograph you, I'm not going to get the best out of you. I'm going to put a mannequin in front of me, and I don't want to do a mannequin. I don't want to shoot a mannequin because I will not be, like I said, I'm a woman, I'm emotionally built. I will not want to have that kind of, I think everybody shouldn't have that kind of personality in your space, because you won't get the best. I won't be a photographer, or rather I won't be an artist. I'll just be somebody holding a holding a camera. And shooting.
All right, let's move very quickly now. Shooting or editing?
What I prefer?
Yes.
I love editing.
You love editing?
Yeah, I do.
All right, creativity or business?
Oh, but wait a minute, go back to that question. I love photography. I love editing because of the painterly portrait style. When I'm actually retouching for painterly retouch, I'm actually a lot more excited than the usual commercial dreamy portraits that everybody really but that particular style, I find this joy. I actually prepare my space when I'm ready. So
you are trying to get me to accept two answers from you.
Okay, what is it?
So
it's both. I like both of them.
So
I like both of them.
You like both of them?
Yeah.
Creativity and business?
Creativity will always bring business for me, so I go for creativity.
Creativity.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'd like you to walk us through some of your, I don't want to say best because you're an artist, so some of your favorite works.
I love this image so much. The reason why I love this, okay, for this particular image, I had a bit of a challenge with this image, and it was not because I didn't know what lighting to do. It's just because I really wanted to get the ambience of the candles, because there are sometimes that when we use, you know, the lights, which like the lights that we use for in our studio, it can sometimes, or rather, it kills the ambience of the candle. So I literally used
making mood lighting impossible.
Yeah. So it was my first time. It was my first time ever to use a torchlight to actually get the light on that face right there. Yes, I thought that I was going to use a video light, but the video light was getting to my shot. So I just said, you know what, someone should just use a torchlight. I think torchlight, and it was amazing. I just did that as I was viewing it from my screen, and I just shot it that way, and I think that was
great
it for me. Yes.
Great image there.
Oh, this particular picture was
awesome.
Yes, I need to be honest about this picture. It was in my head, and I'm like, why we need to find more men, you know, backing their babies, maybe stylishly, you know, and I see that they use a lot of, you know, the modern ways of carrying babies in front. I was just like, how did we used to do it? If mommy can use it, what do they call it? Is it Ijo or Ija or something?
Oja?
Oja. So we did the male version of Oja, you know, and it was such an inspiring picture because a lot of people were sending it to their husbands that they wanted to do this too. They were so cute.
Cool. All right, good. Thank you so much, Mofe Bamuyiwa. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today on the Camera Lounge Season 2. And I hope that you have enjoyed yourself and learned, most especially, insights into her work and the beauty of photography that we practice here in Nigeria, showing the rest of the world. And that's where it's a wrap on the show for today.
Yes.
That's Camera Lounge Season 2 featuring Mofe Bamuyiwa. I'm Kayode Alayande. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bye now.
You have a chance to win a Sony A7 IV camera with a 28 to 70mm kit lens in the Camera Lounge Season 2. Here's all you have to do. Subscribe to the CAMERAjOINT and Mofe Productions YouTube channels. Leave a comment describing what you learned from each episode. Mention a creative icon you'd like interviewed on the show. CAMERAjOINT will announce a winner at a Raffle Draw Live event in June 2023. The Camera Lounge, powered by CAMERAjOINT, supported by Sony Alpha Nigeria and produced by Mofe Productions. Don't miss it.
Okay, and with my best friend, I'm sure you guys know already, my best friends are always the Sony cameras, and this is the A7 R5, recently just dropped by Sony Alpha. It's a 60 megapixel camera, and you know my favorite thing about the Sony is the autofocus system. It has an improved autofocus recognition. You can actually save, you know, the subject's face on the camera, and then it follows through anywhere the subject goes through. Your focus is intact. You know, in terms of video, it has 8K at 24p and then it shoots 4K at 60p. The videos are amazing. I call it a hybrid master because you can actually use it for photography and video at the same time. It shoots 10-bit 422 video options and also includes S-Log3 and Cinetone. It's a very easy way of shooting and getting your images ready for your client. And then in terms of raw files, because I know you're going to be saying it's a 60 megapixels, in terms of raw files, you can actually reduce it and have 26 megapixels and also have 15 megapixels. My best friend is the Sony A7 R5. In terms of technology, it's a great camera. In terms of build quality, it's amazing. Ergonomics is amazing. The way, you know, the grip is, it's quite very sturdy and all. Sony camera is my best option. I don't know about you.